I fear if anyone actually on Earth goes in the spiritual world, because I'm like, guys, they will cut your head off fast. Who are you with? They're not with them. Like, they're not your friend. But I would say I've noticed. I love that. I love what you shared, because that's amazing. Let's get to that point. Let's all your questions to get closer to that. So one of the things you find is that when Christ comes, he's the life and the resurrection. And as the life and the resurrection, all that means is that death doesn't exist in Christ. In Christ. And so when you hear the narratives and the stories and the portrayals, oh my gosh, 1,000 people died, 10 million people died, 1 billion people died, infinite people died. You should also recognize that among that, there's a Christ. And the Christ is the life. And what I've learned in my spirituality is he can give life to everybody in that instant. So there's no death in him. So like for to have the conversation and say all these people died and all these things happened, it means absolutely nothing, because Christ is honestly that life in which you just come back. So you're just like, oh shit. Literally, like anyone who's ever experienced it, like, oh shit, that's Christ. All right, that's it. Okay. Because, and the value in that and the rationale behind that is, do that one faith in the Son, in Christ. That authority's been given to you too. And so that's the nature of that God, in that narrative of there are all these people. There are all these types of belief systems. There are all these religions. There are all these different faiths. And I personally wouldn't want a community college teacher to teach me physics versus the Nobel Peace Prize winner to teach me physics about quantum mechanics, if that was his thing, versus not that there's any issue with it, but like there's different types of teachers. But even beyond that, it's like, and Christ is a different teacher. It's like, listen, I'm telling you from the beginning, and what I told you earlier, what I even said earlier is, there are 100% other forms of light, and these other forms of light, they actually, I have found, to be frank, these other forms of light, oh, they're awful. They're awful. They're not your friend. They're not your family. They're not your cousins. They're not anything. They are, not even that they're not anything, but they just don't like you. You know what I found in the spiritual sense of what they say? I'll take you know what I found in the spiritual sense of when I've been encountering some of these other lights? You know what they say? You're the evil. They say humanity is the evil. Why? Because they say, this is what I've experienced. They say, this is what they say. They say, when we came down and we were fallen angels, how did we fall? You. They say, when Christ died, who killed him? You. You did it. And they're just like, if we do anything good in our lives, it's killing you.
So remember back,
and it's interesting. It was a very interesting.
I remember remember heard this, like angels used to come to Earth, like we still fuck the Earth females and shit, you know.
Yeah, they fucked a lot.
And make a different race.
Gods. I mean, dude, oh my gosh, have you felt the power of knowing you're with God? You realize, you know what that power feels like? You're with God. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I can walk right now in the middle of traffic, and you know what? And you have awareness when you die. You can. What are they gonna do? They're just gonna honk at you. Every car is gonna stop and say, "Hey, you can't." Isn't that powerful? It's crazy. Yeah, that's what it feels like.